Hello everybody and welcome back to Total War Warhammer. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the various different units, armies of the factions that you can play in this game. I just kind of want to make a video where I just kind of maybe show you guys how they look, because part of the fun of this game is having your army and then going into a battle and just watching them in action, just seeing how they look. Because man, it can be real fun to see the detail and such that Creative Assembly put into these. So we're going to be we'll do this alphabetically. We're going to start off with the Beastmen. We're not doing that because there's no point in doing the sub-factions when they are literally going to be using the exact same units and armies of the main faction. So that's why I'm starting with the Beastmen. So you can only select one lord. I'm doing Khazrak the One-Eyed because he's the faction leader. You can have all of your heroes. This lets you set up your difficulty, time limit, how much funds you can get. You can see the funds here for custom battles. And you can be able to select your map. So, you can select different type of battle, land battle, siege battle, ambush battle, subterranean battle, all different kinds of stuff to be able to practice, test stuff out, or as I like to do, just simply load them up just so I can see how they look. It's part of the way for me to decide whether or not I actually want to play through a certain faction in the campaign. Because if the army isn't cool enough, I'm not sure if I'm going to want to play the entire campaign as them. Alright, let's take a look at our Beastmen army. Over here, we've got our Centaurs throwing axes. They are bestial missile cavalry. Armor-piercing missiles, very fast. Vanguard deployment. You can deploy them outside the other range of the deployment zone. We've got Chaos Warhounds, some war beasts. Very cool. See how these guys look? They are very ferocious and scary looking. They don't cause terror, but they kind of should. Centaur, great weapons. So these guys can get in. They're bestial cavalry that can hit really hard with armor-piercing damage. Those are the guys that are over here. Alright, over here we have... Now, there are special type of units that you can unlock called Regiments of Renown. It was kind of an anniversary gift from the developers to the players, like beefed-up versions of certain units. Like, these guys are called the Black Horns Ravagers, which are buffed-up units of the Gore Herd Shields units. So you can see how these guys look here. They are shielded, they are Vanguard deployment, they have stock, which means that they can be able to move move hidden in any terrain. So you want to have them sneak up on your enemies, you can do that. Back here we've got the Razor Gore Herd, monstrous beasts that have armor-piercing damage and are anti-infantry. Very cool looking. Right here, this big in here. Woo! Look at this guy. We've got the Cygor, specialist artillery. He causes terror, armor-piercing, because you know what he does? He stands in the back and he just hurls giant boulders at the enemy. Special range weapon. You see that? Yeah, there we go. A limited ammunition, which can be very useful when initiating attacks. Causes terror to make the enemies flee. No force penalty. And he can be able to adequately defend himself if he gets attacked in melee range. Over here we've got Minotaurs with shields. These guys can be pretty awesome. Up here, I already showed you guys those. We've got Ungor Raiders, which are missile infantry units, for, as archers. Over here we've got Ungor Herd, axe infantry. Yeah, look, some of these generic ones, they look alright. Gore Herd, pretty cool looking, with their horns, like ready to charge the enemy. We've got more monstrous infantry here. Minotaurs with shields, the Butchers of Kalangard, more of the Regiments of Renown, shielded armor piercing cause terror. So what's the difference between those guys and these guys? Well, they also cause terror. These guys are shielded armor piercing, no first penalty. These guys also cause terror. That's one of the extra things that they get. Gorge Herd with shields. We got the Bestigor Herd, armored with armor-piercing damage. Great weapon units. Same thing over here, except these are the Glaive Infantry. They're also, these guys get charge defense against large foes, and they are anti-large, so they can take on big, giant, large enemies. Alright, let's see. Right here we have Chaos Spawn. These guys are just hideous. Look at these things. Ugh. Ugh. Imagine seeing these coming at you in those armies. Yeah, these guys are pretty horrific looking. Pretty horrifying. Over here, what do we have? The Gore Bull. This is a hero unit you can have as an agent running around doing stuff for you. Very cool. Here we've got our faction leader, Kazrak the One-Eye, leading his army with a chariot. And he, of course, has, you know, various different abilities, as the faction leaders usually will do to help beef up their army and lead the charge. Over here, we've got the Brave Shaman, who also has that cool chariot mount. We've got Minotaurs with great weapons and anti-large. Very nice, very cool. Another Cygor mount, the Eye of Morislieb. Very cool. Ungor Spearman Herd. Oh, by the way, over here we also have a Giant. Yes, a Giant. And there are different versions of Giants in this game. Ones that have monster units, you can be able to have this. Armor-piercing anti-infantry, causes terror, no force penalty. Yeah, Giants are pretty tough to take down. And they can be a force to be reckoned with. Over here, flying, we've got Hoppies. Flying melee infantry. Very fast vanguard deployment. You can use these to get to other certain units in the back, like artillery, to really wreck them. Over here, we've got Chaos Warhounds that can have poison attacks. Very nice. We've got Sons of Goros. Centaurs with great weapons. More regiments of renown. Centaurs. Just bestial cavalry. Very nice. And over here we've got Razor Gore Chariot units. Very nice. And Spearmen with shields. I think that might be it. We also have regular Minotaurs. Armor-piercing damage. Dual wielding. And we've got Destroyers of the Drac World. Ungor Spearmen Herd with shields units. You unlock those in the campaign by leveling up your Lord. So he gets to a certain level, those will unlock. So that way you can be able to have those ready to go for the battles. Alright, so that is the Beastmen Army. Pretty cool looking units. Especially the Giant and the Cygors. Minotaurs, those are pretty awesome. We'll concede defeat here so we can now select a different faction and look at their army. Like I said, just a nice way to be able to just look at the different armies here. Alright, up next we'll take a look at Bretonnia, though really I'm not exactly that eager. This is one of the factions I just briefly tried. I was just like, this is weird. Like, they have a different economy system called Chivalry, which I just didn't really care that much about. We got, this is the main faction here, the King Lewin Lorancourt, whatever. He has a Barded Warhorse, a Royal Pegasus, a Hippogriff, and Bakwa, the greatest of the Hippogriffs. So we'll give him that. A Paladin, a Damsel, the Heavens, and the Green Knight. This guy, Barded Warhorse, Royal Pegasus. She also gets a Unicorn instead of a Barded Warhorse. And then we'll take a look at each of the different units here. This is really only possible if you pick the custom funds option to be able to have tons of funds to be able to have one of each unit in your army. I spent a while trying to figure this out until I saw that option over there. Alright, so that's the full army there. Let's take a look at Bretonnia's army. It's mainly cavalry focused. Excuse me a moment while I try to help out my throat by putting in a cough drop. Take a sip of water. For those who don't know, doing these videos and talking a lot can really hurt your throat if you don't help take care of it. Take care of your throat. Take care of your throat, kids. Alright, so here is Bretonia's army. Lots of cavalry units, I'm telling you right now. Lots of cavalry stuff. Here we've got the Grail Knights, which have their weapons glowing. Shielded living saints. What is that? Knights who have sipped from the Grail, who are elevated above mere mortals. They truly are what is best in men. Apparently, what did they drink from the Grail from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? Here we have the Paladin with his Royal Pegasus. Pegasus and Griffins are a thing. Questing Knights. Like I said, lots of cavalry. Lots of cavalry. Knights Errant, Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. Over here we've got Beast Slayers of Bastogne, Foot Squires, Halberd Infantry. Rah, rah, rah. You get up close, you can hear the sounds they make. It's really cool. Up here, we've got more cavalry, mounted yeoman archers. Here we've got men-at-arms, sword infantry. There's also a lot of peasant units in this army. Peasant bowmen. Part of the economy thing for Bretonia, from what I gathered, was that you had to manage between using peasants in your army or in the farmlands. It was odd. Spearmen at arms. Blessed Field trebuchets. So that's one of the main artillery units here. Trebuchets. Field trebuchets. Over here we've got some more cavalry units, but utilizing Pegasus. Battle Pilgrims. More peasant bowmen. Here we've got the look at this. This is one of the most absurd units I've ever seen. He's riding a fake wooden horse. With these guys carrying it like they'll never notice. Look at this. It's a skeleton. I don't get what... This is one of the silliest, most absurd units I've ever seen. I don't get what the... I don't know. Here we've got the Green Knight. Riding, which I guess is like a ghost or something. Riding a ghostly horse. Kind of cool. And here is the king himself. King Lewincourt on his hippogriff mount, who is looking at us like, what are you looking at? Mighty Griffin. They'll wait to see the one that the Emperor Karl Franz gets. Pegasus Knights. Wardens of Montfort. Mounted Yeoman Archers. Mounted Yeoman. Like I said, tons of cavalry. If you love running with cavalry units, this is the faction for you. Royal Hippogriff Knights. Spearmen at Arms. Foot Squires. Men at Arms. Holy Wardens. More Battle Pilgrims. A damsel on her unicorn. And men at arms, pole arms, halberd infantry. That's basically the Bretonia army. Nothing that really excites me. I'm sorry, if you like Bretonia, good for you, but they're not for me. I didn't really like their economy system, and they didn't really excite me in terms of an army. Alright, let's see. Next up we have the Dwarves. We got a regular Lord, a Rune Lord, Grim Iron Fist, Grumbrindal the White Dwarf, Belagor Iron Hammer, and Thorgrim Grudgebearer. He is the faction leader, and I cannot wait to show you how he looks. Thane, Smith, Master Engineer. Pretty strong, stout, defensive, durable army the dwarves have. They have a lot of units to choose from. You get a lot of depth and customization with their army because they have a ton to choose from. Look at all the artillery and war machines units. Like just about as much as the Empire has. Look at this. That's a lot. And no, none of them get any mounts. Dwarves aren't. You don't get mounts. They have helicopters or gyrocopters, but not mounts. Ugh. Alright, here's our dwarven army. Start off with the Skyhammer, which is a gyro bomber. You can be able to fly these over the enemy and bomb them. It's great. Brimstone guns. These guys have, I guess, like machine guns at the end of their choppers there. It's pretty cool. We've got Dragomax Slayers. These are unarmored Slayer melee units for the dwarves. They're anti-large, fast for a dwarf, death blow, and whirling axes. They're unbreakable, and they always fight to the bitter, and sometimes even beyond that. Imminent death only makes them fight harder. When killed in melee, Slayers launch a final attack with their dying breaths. Woo! Woo! Yeah, these guys may don't go down quickly because they don't have armor, but man, can they do some damage. And they keep fighting. We've got Quarrelers with great weapons. These are archers, but they also have big great weapons to fight in melee. They have some of the best hybrid missile melee infantry units in the game. We've got a Thane here. Pretty cool looking. I shall lead my army in battle. Yes. We've got, what's this? The Flame Cannon. Woo! Look at this thing. Just like a big giant cannon that shoots out flame. That is so cool. We've got the Organ Gun. Look at this thing. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, man, if you love to make infantry, this is the kind of army for you. They have some really great ones. We have the Cannon. Oh, man, look at these things. We've got the Bolt Throwers. Yep. Back here, we have the Hammerers. The Peak Gate Guard. Buffed up Hammerer units. Damage dealers, armor sundering, armored armor piercing. So these guys also get armor sundering. What does armor sundering do? Armor sundering. This unit can significantly weaken the target's armor. Yep, pretty awesome. We've got the Grumbling Guard Longbeard's great weapons. Look at these guys. Very cool. Back here we've got catapults. The Goblobber Grudge Throwers. Those are pretty awesome. More regular Slayers is what they look like. You see, those guys aren't armored up, whereas many of the other Dwarven units are armored up and shielded. Here we've got Rangers with great weapons. Close quarters infantry. Like I said, those are mainly hybrid type of units that can be able to fight in close quarters, but also be able to, I guess, do some range, I think? Because it shows that they have a, look at that attack range. So they can use ranged weapons. They can use either one. That's what that symbol is kind of for. We've got Norgrimlings, Iron Breakers. We've got Rangers with great weapons. More close range infantry. Miners that can also throw blasting charges, but use pickaxes for their weapons. Regular rangers. Miners with blasting charges. Just regular miners without blasting charges, mainly melee. Bugman's rangers. Back over here, let's see, we've got the Master Engineer, the Runesmith, and here is Thorgrim Grudgebearer, being carried around on his throne by his pole-bearers, having his mighty axe, but also the Book of Grudges. Gosh, what is it called? What is it called? I can't remember, but that's one he's always looking at there, the Book of Grudges, because they always hold a grudge, and they never forget a grudge. Regular grudge throwers. Longbeards with great weapons. We've got Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, Dwarf Warriors with fire on their axes. That is awesome. Bolt throwers. Flamethrower Infantry. Iron Drakes. These guys can be able to use flamethrowers. Really cool. Trollhammer Torpedo. Torpedo Launcher Infantry. Yes, they have torpedo launchers. Axe Infantries. Longbeards. Great weapons. More Flamethrower Infantry. Dwarf Warriors. We've got Thunderers with guns or boomsticks. Quarrelers. Missile Infantry. And Iron Breakers. Axe Infantry. That is... Oh, wait, hold on. We have more. But wait, there's more. We have more Gyro Bombers. And Gyrocopters. You'll see some of the differences between those two units on the side over here. So that is the Dwarven Army. Very cool. Very armored up. Can be able to hold their own in battle with also lots of artillery. They are really good at defensive positions, defending. Next, one of my favorite factions in the game, the Greenskins. Alright, so we've got the Night Goblin War Boss, the Orc War Boss. Those guys get a Great Cave Squig mount. The Orc War Boss can get a Warboar or a Wyvern mount. This guy can get a Giant Wolf. Skarsnik doesn't get one, but he gets a pet. Grimgor Ironhide, the leader, does not get a mount. He relies on his feet. Azhag the Slaughterer, he gets a Wyvern called Skullmuncher. And then Wurzag gets Spleen Ripper, a Warboar. So, I would usually like to show I would want to show Grimgor, but I'm going to show Azhag because, of course, Skullmuncher. And then we've got these other guys. This guy can get a giant spider mount instead of a giant wolf. And this guy can get a Warboar. I have really enjoyed playing the Greenskins. Took them a while to get going, though, but there's also a different style play to each one. Lots of different cavalry and chariot units here. Unlike the dwarves, the Greenskins are like, charge and go on the offensive. Like, get in your enemy's face. They do have a few artillery stuff, but not as much as the dwarves. They do have some cool monster units, though. Expected to take a little while to load each time. After all, when it's trying to load that many units, it can affect the performance of your computer. Alright. You know what? I'm just going to have them all kind of line up, because that way it'll be a little easier to just like go from one to the other. There we go. Alright. Starting over here, we have the Squig Herd, war beasts, that are good anti-infantry damage dealer units. We have missile chariots, the Goblin Wolf Chariots, Thief Robbers. We have Death Creepers, Force Goblin Spider Rider Archers. Yes, these guys can ride giant spiders and be archers from there. Just what I want to see, being an arachnophobe. We have more Missile Cavalry with Margrove's Mangy Marauders, Goblin Wolf Archers, which is great. I love wolves. We've got more Goblin Wolf Chariots. We have more Goblin Spider Rider Archers. We have Goblin Wolf Rider Archers. We have, like I said, we have a ton of cavalry units, whether it's melee or archery units. We've got Broken Tusk Mob, Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Yeah, some of the names and some of the terminology and words from the greenskins is pretty funny. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry, I left the door open and the phone went off. Sorry about that. I hope you didn't hear that. Anyway, we've got the Savage. So there's the regular big orc big boy units, and then there's a Savage orc big boy units. Orc boar chariots. What's next? Savage? No. Orc boar boy biggins. More of these guys. You start to see a trend. Start to see a lot of the same kind of units. Savage orc boar boys. Orc boar boys. You got regular orcs and we got orc biggins. We've got goblins riding these squigs, little squig hoppers. Night goblin squig hoppers. We've got goblins riding wolves. We've got more spider rider units. More wolf rider units. A lot of the same thing. Got night goblin archers. We got savage orc archer boys, or R boys. Night goblin archer fanatics. We've got orc R boys. Night goblin archers. Regular goblin archers. Lots of goblins and orcs in here. We've got the crimson killers. The black orcs. Black orcs are really, really strong melee infantry units. Armored, armor-piercing, anti-infantry, and armed to the teeth. Wielding an EV chop on each hand, the Crimson Killers cleave through several foes with each swing. That's how they talk, the greenskins. We've got the regular black orcs, armored and armor-piercing. These guys are just monsters. No, I take that back, because there are actual monsters in this. Savage orc biggins. Damage dealers. Bigger in order. War paint. What is war paint? A couple tattoos in their battle skin grant savage orcs physical resistance, which reduce damage from any non-magical attack. Bigger in order. Are eager to prove it against enemies of all sizes. Orc biggins. Night Goblin fanatics. To 8 Peaks loonies. Savage orcs. Not armored up, but damage dealers. More the Warlord's boys, Night Goblins, sword infantry that can stalk. Nasty Skulkers, also more stalking infantry units. Orc boys. More Night Goblins fanatics. Night Goblins. What's the difference between the fanatics and such? These guys get a special range weapon. These don't. Regular Goblin spear infantry. An Orc Shaman with his Warborn mount. This Goblin Big Boss with his Spider mount. Night Goblin Shaman. And then, of course, last but not least, Azhag the Slaughterer, riding Spleen Ripper. His Wyvern mount. See? That is awesome. I love seeing them have these kinds of cool mounts. And it frustrates me when I see other leaders and lords don't have any mount. I don't understand why Grimgore Ironhide can't have a mount. It just bothers me. really wish he had a mount. Okay, next up we have Norska. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we've got a Marauder Chieftain, Wulfric the Wanderer, and Throg. We're going to look at Wulfric the Wanderer. He gets a Norscan Warhorse, a Marauder Chariot, and a War Mammoth. Wait till you guys see some of these units. This is one of my favorite armies in the game. We've got a Shaman Sorcerer, Death, Metal, and Fire. We're going to look at Fire, Death, and Skin Wolf Werekin. Actually, let's kind of cut it up a bit, maybe. I don't know. Nah, some of you guys may want to know what the difference is between them. I wouldn't be very responsible in showing you guys this if I didn't include all those so you guys can see the differences. Lots of cool monster units in this army. Marauder Chariot. Alright, he's got his mark. There we go. Alright. Alright, let's do the same as before. I think that seemed to work out just fine. Alright, so starting off, we have the War Mammoth War Shrine. Now, you're probably going, no, wait a minute. I see multiple Mammoth units. What's the difference? The War Mammoth, well, actually, let's have the Feral Mammoth over here. This is the Feral Mammoth. You know, just on its own. Armor piercing, attack, anti-infantry, and causes terror. That's kind of the baseline version Mammoth. The upgraded versions are the War Mammoth. It's armored up, armor piercing. It has guys on top that can be able to throw ranged weapons if they get too close. Really cool. This is the upgraded version, the Soul Crusher of the War Mammoth. Doesn't seem to... Oh, hold on a second. What are these? Strider. Speed and combat penalties caused by terrain are ignored by this unit. That is fantastic. Enrage. It gets a damage resistance buff. That's cool. The War Shrine. It has Favor of the Ruinous Powers. It affects allies in range and gives them a leadership buff. And it also can give an ally an unbreakable buff. So it doesn't necessarily do that as much as this one can do in battle. But this one can be able to buff up allies, which is very important in this army. Over here, we've got a two-headed Frostworm. Look at this thing. Ah, that's awesome. Frostbite is a particularly cool trait for this army that slows down enemies. Over here, we have another giant, a Norscan giant. Look at that face. That's a face only a mother could love. Here we've got Fimrir Warriors. A very odd reptilian cycloid race, I guess. They're a bit of an oddball. Ah, I love these guys. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big werewolf fan. So, skin wolves are wonderful. I love these things. These guys are armored skin wolves, which also have armor piercing and are anti-large and our vanguard deployment. We've got more Fimrir warriors with great weapons. Fimrir warriors with 2 weapons in each hand. More armored skin wolves. And then we have regular skin wolves. Difference, these guys can take a bit more. They have, damage. They're a little slower. These guys are a little faster, but they are not as sustainable because they don't have any armor to help them out. We've got a Feral Manticore. This is an interesting beast here. Look at that. Another flying unit that can cause terror. Ice trolls. Yeah, these troll units can be pretty good anti-infantry kind of units with armor-piercing damage and health regeneration. These guys can cause frostbite, though, so they're a little better. We have just ice wolves. Very fast wolf units. For a wolf lover, the wolf is my favorite animal, by the way. So for someone who loves wolves and werewolves, this is my kind of army right here. Look at this. Look at all these warhounds and wolves. We've got marauders on horses. We've got marauders on horses that can throw axes. More marauder horsemen. Marauders on ice wolf chariots. A marauder chariot unit. Marauder hunters. Marauder hunters that can throw javelins, because of course these guys hunt animals in the wild. Marauder champions with great weapons. Marauder champions that can fight in battle. Marauder berserkers. We got more Marauder Berserkers. Icehorn Marauders. Buffed up Marauders. Marauders with great weapons. Marauder Spearmen. Regular Marauders. The Skinwolf Werekin, one of your hero units. This guy is so cool. So fantastic. Another Fimrir Bale Fiend. A wizard that you can have in your army. We've got a Shaman Sorcerer on a chariot mount. And then we have Wulfric the Wanderer, our faction leader, sitting on a throne on his War Mammoth mount. Very, very cool. Now, it is important to note, though, that depending on what mount you give them, their stats change. Like, he only has this because he has this Mammoth mount. If he didn't, if he was by himself, he would be a duelist, where he could go one-on-one with almost any lord. But that gets taken away when he rides his War Mammoth mount. So that is something to consider. Even though I do love the whole mount thing, it does, there are ups and downs to both of them. So that's something I do also need to learn to manage as well. Next up we have the Empire. And of course, these guys, you know, they're all, his War Altar mount is funny, but of course, we're going to look at the Emperor Karl Franz and Deathclaw. We have a lot of hero units in this army. It's lots of wizards. Lots of wizards. We've got the Witch Hunter, Imperial Pegasus. Let's go with the Barded Warhorse so you guys can see what that looks like. A warhorse there. What? No. What? No. Oh, hold on. I have to do it from here. Sorry about that. My bad. Pegasus. Barded Warhorse. Regular Warhorse. Another Pegasus. Another Pegasus. Another Pegasus. Another Pegasus. And an Imperial Griffin. Alright, so now we get to our other army units here. Let's get these in here. Very balanced army. I've gotten pretty far on my run with the Empire. Very balanced army that you can have. Lots of really cool... Look at the artillery and war machine units here. These are wonderful. They can cause a lot of havoc and damage. There were some quest battles I did with the Empire with those artillery units. My gosh, they tore up various different enemies. It was just wonderful to watch. That's what's something. You get caught up watching the battles more than managing them. Because they're so great to watch. You can watch this as much as play it. That's a credit to Creative Assembly and the detail they put into the battles. Okay, let's line them up. Everybody, line up! Line up formation! For inspection! Over here we have the Luminarch of Hish, a magic chariot unit, which has this armor-piercing missile, Solheim's Bolt of Illumination, and a magical aura. We have Outriders, missile cavalry with grenade launchers. Yes, grenade launchers. Outriders with just regular guns. Pistoliers, the cavalry with pistols. Shock cavalry. These guys are riding Demogryphs. The Royal Altdorf Griffites, Demogryph Knights. See these things? Yeah. Halberds, regular Demogryph Knights. The Reichsguard. We got the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Look at those weapons. Woo. Woo. More Reichsguard. Empire Knights. Silver Bullets. Handgunners. Free Company Militia. With different weapons, swords, and guns. So they are able to be that close quarters infantry hybrid unit. Always nice to have. Missile infantry, handgunners with rifles. These guys, crossbowmen. More Free Company Militia. Great sword melee infantry units. Flagellants with mace infantries. Sigmar's Son, swordsman units. Halberdiers. Flagellants, swordsmen, spearmen with shields, spearmen, and then we get to some of the other units. Here we have the Amber Wizard on his Hippogriff mount. Here we have the Empire Captain on his Pegasus, Jade Wizard on his Pegasus, the Grey Wizard, Celestial Wizard, Bright Wizard. Here we have the Witch Hunter. He doesn't get a mount. Warrior Priest on the... That's what the Barded horse looks like. The regular horse looks like this, the Light Wizard. And we have the Emperor. The Emperor himself, Karl Franz, on Death Claw. Look at this guy. Look at this thing. Look at that. Upper half of the body is like an eagle. The back half is a tiger. That is awesome. That is so cool. Causes terror. A duelist, armor-piercing, armored. That is wonderful. Karl Franz is such a great, balanced, strong general unit, and I love playing an army with him and with Deathclaw. Here now we get to the cool artillery units. Look at these guys. We've got the rocket, the Sunmaker, which is a Hellstorm rocket battery. Launch these things at your enemies and watch the fun. Watch the fun unfold, because man, those can tear enemies out. The volley guns, those are also great. Hammer of the Witches, great cannon units. Yeah, those can be fun too. Great cannons, mortars. Yeah, lots of really cool balanced units in this army. Empire, balanced, pretty fun to play. I actually deployed more units than he did. Alright, let's see. Next up, we have... Oh, here we go. One of my favorites. So it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 factions left to look at. Now we have the Vampire Counts. We will have Manfred von Karstein, who gets a Barded Nightmare, a Hellsteed, and a Zombie Dragon. Yes, you heard me. A Zombie Dragon. We get the Banshee, the Viking. Actually, we don't need both vampires. Let's get rid of her. Let's see here. This guy gets a Nightmare Steed Corpse Cart. Unholy Lodestone. He gets a Barded Skeletal Steed. She gets a Hell Steed. And the Banshee doesn't get a mount. Then we've got our infantry and monster units, and quite a few cavalry units too. Did I select the other one? I don't think I did. There we go. I wasn't in there for some reason. I think I misclicked or something. Lots of monsters and beasts. We do have somewhat of a artillery war machine, but really, I never really get into using those, because why would you, the monsters and beasts are just so much more fun. I have had a lot of fun playing as the Vampire Counts. One of my favorite armies to play as. The faction aspect, in terms of the campaign map, it can be a little frustrating to play with the vampire corruption and such. But, it's just really cool having an army like this to control. Drinking some water, try and keep my throat okay. Obviously, talking this long in a video can start to tire out your throat. Gonna need to take a break after this video. Alright, let's have everybody line up. Line up for inspection. Over here, we start off with the Claw of Nagash, a Mortis Engine magic chariot unit. Causes Terror, Master Generation, Magic Harvester, regular Mortis Engine. We have the Black Coach, Evocation of Death. Bolster resistance and strengthens charge. The Corpse Cart, Unholy Lodestone. Balefire Corpse Cart. Regular Corpse Cart. Ah, we have the Terrorgeist. Look at this thing. Whew. Anti-large, causes terror, armored, and armor piercing. This is such a great unit to have. We've got the Vargeist, or rather the Devils of Schwarzhaven, which are buffed up Vargeist units. Here are the regular Vargeist. Ugh. Here we have the Vargulf. This guy is great. Very fast, regeneration and armor piercing. And he's great at taking down gates and siege battles. Here we have the Crypt Horrors. Ooh, look at those things. Woo! Armor piercing, poison attacks, and regeneration. These guys are a force to be reckoned with. We've got Dire Wolves and the Dire Pack. These guys are very good. Very fast, very cool. We've got Fell Bats. Of course, what would a vampire count army be without Wolf Bat? Or not Wolf Bats. Fell Bats, excuse me. We've got the Blood Knights. Very cool. We've got the Chillgeist Hex Wraith Cavalry units. Look at these things. Ethereal, cause terror. Yeah. Those are things that are horrifying. Barracks Reavers, Black Knights with lances and barding. Shock Cavalry. Black Knights with lances and barding. Regular Black Knights. We've got the Stearns Men, which are beefed up versions of the Grave Guard, which are really good melee infantry units to have that are armored up. We've got Cairn Wraiths, Scythe Infantry. Look at these guys. They're the Reapers, the Grim Reapers have come. Cause terror, Ethereal. Lots of units in this army cause terror in here. Grave Guard. The Feasters in the Dust. Crypt Ghouls. Smaller versions of the Crypt Horrors, pretty much. Skeleton Warriors. More Crypt Ghouls. Skeleton Spearmen. Skeleton Warriors. Zombies! And then we have a Necromancer with his Corpse Cart mount. The Banshee. The White King with a Barded Skeleton mount. And then, last but not least... Oh, hold on. We skipped one. Vampire with her Hell Steed mount. A Pegasus from Hell, pretty much. And then we have Manfred von Karstein. A vampire lord with his zombie dragon. I think that's pretty awesome. Oh, that's so cool.
Attend me.
So Manfred is a spellcaster, armored, armor piercing, and scaly skin because of his dragon. Just an awesome army. Lot of fun to play as the vampire counts. You gotta, take time to earn those mounts, but man, it can be worth it. Next up we have the Warriors of Chaos. Woo! These guys are, they are like one of the main forces to be reckoned with in this game. So here's one of my problems, though. The main guy, Archaon, he gets Dorgar. Supposedly the largest warhorse in existence, but that's all he gets. This guy doesn't get a mount. Neither does this guy, because they're big monsters. This guy doesn't get a mount. And yet, the other lords in the army get Chaos Steeds, Manticores, and Chaos Dragons. I'm sorry, I just don't understand why these guys get Chaos Dragons and then Archaon just gets a horse. If I'm in this army, I'm going to want to follow the guy that's riding a dragon, not a horse. I'm sorry, but I just don't get why Archaon can't be riding a Chaos Dragon. And I'm conflicted about which lord I want to show in this army. Do I want to show Archaon, the main guy? Do I want to show Kolek, the big monster? Or do I want to show a Chaos Lord with the Chaos Dragon? Okay, you know what? You guys saw the zombie dragon. So I'm going to show you guys Archaon. Because he's the guy. He's the big main guy. That guy gets a Manticore mount. They all get Manticore mounts, don't they? Yep. Alright, there we go. Oh, man. It's frustrating. My throat is starting to hurt. Gonna have to... I know this is going really long. I apologize, guys, if this is going too long for you, but I just thought this would be something kind of cool to do and to show you guys, so that you can have an idea of what this game looks like. Let's just do that one. Alright. Fortunately, I have my cough drops to help out with my throat. You'd be surprised how helpful these can be when you have to talk for long periods of time. Archaon versus Archaon. Alright, everybody line up. Alright, so over here we have the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. This is what Kolek, one of the other lords, is. And you can understand why he doesn't get him out. That I understand. And this guy, pretty strong. Causes terror. Armor piercing. Very fast. Scaly skin. And then we have the regular Dragon Ogres. Pretty strong too. Summoners of Rage. Those are the beefed up ones. Here are the regular ones. Pretty awesome. The Chaos Giant. Yeesh. Oh, man. Talk about causing terror. Wow. We have more of those Chaos Spawn the Beastmen had. Yep. More of those. A Chaos Feral Manticore. We have Chaos Trolls, and they're armored up. We also have just regular Chaos Trolls. Chaos Warhounds with poison. Regular Chaos Warhounds. Marauder Horsemen, Horse Masters, Throwing Axes. We have the Swords of Chaos, Chaos Knights, pretty awesome. Chaos Knights with Lances. Regular Chaos Knights. Gore Beast Chariots. Chosen with Halberds. Chosen with great weapons. Chosen just with that are armored and shielded. Forsaken, these guys, oh my gosh. The Daemon Spew. Forsaken armor, damage healer, poison attacks, frenzy. Mirror Guard, Chaos Warriors that are beefed up. Chaos Warriors with halberds. Chaos Warriors with great weapons. More of these Forsaken. Chaos Warriors. Aspiring Champions. Armored and shielded with Vanguard deployment. Chaos Marauders with great weapons. Regular Chaos Marauders. Up here we have the Exalted Hero with his Feral Manticore mount. Down here we have Mighty Archaon the Ever-Chosen. Riding Dorgor, apparently the largest warhorse ever to exist. With a flaming sword. I still think he would look much cooler riding a Chaos Dragon. And then we have the Hell Cannon. They're lone artillery unit, but it's pretty devastating. Alright. And you will usually encounter those guys, this faction, pretty much in every campaign. Essentially. Alright, last but not least, the Wood Elves. Yawn. I'm sorry. I'm not an elf lover. An elven steed, a giant eagle, and a forest dragon. Orion, the faction leader, doesn't get a mount. The Ancient Tree Men don't get mounts. The Glade Lord and these two Glade Lords get a forest dragon mount. So this time I'm not going to show these main legendary lords because they don't have mounts, because forget that. Let's do this. Okay. Of course, as you'd expect, with Wood Elves, lots of missile infantry, missile cavalry, yep. Lots of archery. Alright, let's wrap this up by taking a look at the Wood Elves faction. Very uninspiring army, in my opinion. I do want to attempt to actually try and play through the campaign or with them, or even their specific campaign. I've just been focusing on some of those other main factions before I delve into theirs. Because that one mainly seems to focus a lot on diplomacy and confederation. Alright. Looks like there are some units here that are kind of cool. Starting off with, well, this is a forest dragon. I guess that's kind of cool looking. Tries to make it look like it's a deer dragon or something. Here we have a tree man. Tree? I am no tree. I am an ant. Come on, you knew I was gonna go there. I'm telling you, Total War Lord of the Rings. Firebark Elders, treekin that are on fire! Oh, hold on. A giant eagle. The eagles are coming, Mr. Frodo! The eagles are coming! Come on, there are so many Lord of the Rings jokes in here. How can I not? Hawk Riders, archers on hawks. Very kind of cool. Magic Cavalry on deer. There are some units that are cool here, so I'll just, have to take the time to actually try them out, see how effective they are as an army. Hagbane Tips, which I guess are missile cavalry units. Glade Riders, more missile cavalry. Wild Hunters of Cernuus, Wild Riders with shields. Wild Riders on deer. Way Watchers, like I said, plenty of archery units here. You can see mainly just elves with bows and arrows. Wardens of Scythrall, Wildwood Rangers that are spear infantry. Asari spear infantry. Glaive infantry with looks like great weapons, armor piercing and anti-large. Yep. Usually spear units are pretty good anti-large units. Ethereal Guard with shields. Spear infantry with shields. Sword infantry. More Ethereal Guard, shields, spear infantry. Dryads. Creature infantry of Forest Spirit Tree Men. Ethereal Guards, Spear Infantry. We have our Spell Singer hero on a Eagle mount. A Waystalker who doesn't get a mount. Neither does this Branch Wraith. And then we have our Glade Lord riding a Forest Dragon. Which, sadly, I hate it when a generic Lord gets a cool mount, but the Legendary Lord and Faction Leader do not. I'm sorry, I just don't like that. So, that is every main faction army in this game. Just to give you guys an idea of what they look like, what you can look forward to, depending on what faction you play as. A good way to just kind of test it out, you know, with this custom battle thing. Good way to practice, as I was saying before. And I will see you guys next time.